Hi, my name is Jarmo Vuodenpää and I'm here today with our latest addition to the mobile screen range, Lokotrack ST2.3. Today I'm going to show you that it's so easy to set up that even an office guy like myself can do it. Alright, so now we have the equipment ready. The only tool that we need to put it in the setup mode is this here. So the first thing to do is to put the power on. And the main power switch is located here behind the engine module. And it can't be locked for safety purposes. So now we switch it on. So the power is on. Next thing is to go to the main control panel. And to switch the power on here. Takes a minute or so to load the program. So the next thing is to start the machine. Now we have the machine on. One thing that we need to do before we can set up the machine is to make sure that it's located on a level position and in a place that is suitable for screening. We start it from here and from the control panel we select the remote control. And also good to make sure that the emergency button is not, the stop button is not pushed down. We make sure that nobody's around the machine and we can run the machine a bit. So on this side of the machine we have the indicators showing that the machine is on level on both directions. So in this side it's a bit on level, so we can still run it a bit to make sure that it's within the accepted margins. So now the machine is good to go. Okay, and the next thing is to activate the manual valves. And it says here on the display that the hand valves are operable. So in the whole machine we have a few things to unwrap before we can start the operation. On this side we have the feeder that needs to be lifted up. The next thing is to take up the screen, and then on this side we have the two side conveyors and the oversize conveyor that needs to be folded up. So as you can see, the machine arrives in a very compact package, only 2.85 meters in height and 2.25 meters in width, with less than 17 tons, so really compact but powerful machine. Okay, so the first thing we start with is the oversize conveyor. The oversize conveyor needs to be lifted up for the operation position, and it's done with this cylinder which has the blue dot on it. Before we can operate the cylinder, we need to remove these locking pins located to the folding point of the conveyor. So there's a similar pin on each side of the conveyor. We remove the small pin and then the bigger pin and keep them ready for reinstallation. As said, you can see the blue dot on the hydraulic cylinder, and on the side of the machine we can find all the hydraulic valves that are operated manually. Here we have the blue signal, and also on the sticker we can see that this is operating the oversize conveyor. By pressing up, the conveyor is folding up. So let's do that. Okay, now the conveyor is folded up, so we just need to reinstall those locking pins to the holes. Okay, now the oversize conveyor is done and we can move to the side conveyors. So we have two side conveyors packed underneath the oversize conveyor, and we need to roll them on the sides and fold them to the operational position. We'll start that by removing these transport lockings here. Here we need the tool. So we need to loosen these bolts a bit, like that. The other side, like that. And then loosen the screw itself. After that, we can remove the pin. And this pin we need to reinstall in a moment. So now we can see that the conveyor is free and can be turned on the side. The turning of the conveyors happens with the green cylinder. So we can locate the green cylinder right here, and the sticker also the movement is visible. So by pressing down, the conveyor will be moved towards the side. Let's see. Before unfolding any of the conveyors or other parts, it's good to make sure that there's no any mechanical transport lockings in the machine. And now we need to reinstall this screw that ensures the conveyor position. So we install the pin, we make sure that the screw is tightened, and then we also tighten the bolts. Like that. Next, we're gonna unfold the conveyor. When doing that, it's good to see and check that the belt is coming out nicely. Okay, that's done. So the last thing that we need to do is to lift up the conveyor. So as you can see, the conveyor height is still quite limited, and we can see on the other side of the machine the different positions that the conveyor can be operated. So you can see here that there's 4 different positions on the conveyor. Now it's on transport position, the highest one, which is maximizing the ground clearance underneath. There are 3 different positions here, which can be selected based on the required discharge height or the material. So basically lower discharge height, lower inclination for a material that has a potential to roll back. And if the discharge height wants to be maximized, then we can use the lowest hole in the bracket. So first we remove these pins like that. Okay, now the holes are aligned. One thing to remain is to reinstall these pins. And then on the other side, and the small pin back in its place. Okay, so next we do the same thing on the other side conveyor. And now we can remove the pin. And we just need to tighten up the bolts. So first thing to do was to remove the pins here. So this conveyor we placed on the bottom hole to maximize the discharge height on that side. Alright, so now the conveyor is secured and all the product conveyors are ready to roll. Okay, now the only thing remaining is to lift up the feeder and the screen. Okay, first we lift up the feeder and it's done with the green dot located here. Now important, before we start to lift up the screen, we need to lock the screen with the feeder with these pins. There's one pin on each side of the machine. Now the pins are locked, so we can move to the last part of the setup, which is lifting up the screen. That is done with these orange cylinders. It's located here. So you can see here the different slots where this pin is tightened and locked, so we can operate the screen in different angles from 13 to 23 degrees depending on the type of material and the type of screening we are doing. So in this case I will put it to the second lowest position. And finally, it's good to lower the screen down against the pins. Okay, as you can see, it's very easy to set up the machine even with one guy. Despite the very compact dimensions, you can see that there's good up to 3 meter discharge height on all the conveyors, and with the big 4.6 square meter screen with high stroke, you can achieve high capacities in different type of applications. So now the only thing remaining is that we put the machine on an operation. We take off the manual valves and we push down the process button that starts the operation and the process in sequence. All right, let's get rocking. So as you could see, the Lokotrack ST2.3 is so easy to set up that even an office guy like myself can do it.